we start racking up for next year, so I'll be quick. We've had our emergency exercise, and that happened on the 4th of April. It was very well supported, I must admit. I included photos there. Our arrival hall was full of people in the debrief afterwards, and there was lots of learnings from that. We had it as close as we could to a real one. We ran it at night, as difficult as possible. We really wanted to check whether the system can handle some of the interesting things we could throw at it. We had a lot of work happening at the ALAs. We had more than 10 visits to the ALAs, a lot of pre-work for the upcoming works we've done there, in addition to the normal slashing, spraying, weeding, those sorts of things. Back at Emerald, we did an extra more than 10 kilometers of crack sealing we've done. That's to make sure that at the end of the year, when we get to our big project, we don't have bigger problems than when we started. Now, if you consider that the runway is only about 2 kilometers long, it gives you an idea of how much crack sealing we've done. That's in addition to the previous months. We've also had localized earth moving works done. Our drain that was finished constructing a couple of months ago, about 2 months ago in the rain, that held up very, very well, and so we're really pleased with that project. You may remember, if I can put in a plug for our department, we did it within time and we did it at less than budget, and it held up very well. Very proud of our little drain there. The car park, unfortunately, continues to sometimes play up a bit. With the rain and moisture, you can imagine that it doesn't perform well. We've got a number of comms issues there we're looking at. We also have budgets that we're requesting for next year, so we can, I guess, fix some of the underlying issues there. On security, we had security audit from state government or federal government a little while ago. We continue to roll out IED training to staff. There were, I guess, additional risks identified in the national aviation system with regards to oversized baggage. So we had to change some of the back-of house procedures when it comes to oversized baggage, to make sure that's not an entry point. The master planning, everyone would know that that's on the go. We're expecting a draft in the next 2 weeks. Once we've had an eye on that to make sure that it does what it's supposed to say on the can, we definitely share that with council and come for some more of your comments and insights with regards to that. If I can give a quick feedback on the capital works we've got on, obviously the runway overlay, that's happening on track, on budget. It's currently the RFP is closed and the panel is having a look at who they're going to propose get the works. We had a visit from the Honourable Martin McCormack and O'Dowd to inspect the GA apron works, or site. The works haven't started, of course. We have, as I said earlier, our flat mitigation project that performed well in the rain. We're doing works to our garden entrance. That's the famous competition. If you remember that, the materials have started to arrive on site yesterday. We're hoping that that project will be done within the next 3 weeks or so. The plants, at the time of going out to tender, we of course had the water restrictions, so we didn't want to plant plants that we couldn't water. So we've gone out now for the plants. The plants will, as a result, arrive a little bit late, but that'll get done. We had the very recently added fire project. That's come back from RFT, and the successful contractor has been informed or notified. That work's going to take 10 weeks to do, meaning that unfortunately will run over into the first couple of weeks of next year. But it is very, very important that we get it done, and we didn't want to wait to only get that started next year. And then, of course, last one, resurfacing of Ralston and Springshire. We've had a communications plan in place for that we went through, and we're keeping the relevant councillors, Councillor Rolf Nixon and Cotton Smith informed of how we're tracking with that. That will mean that every guys to aerodromes or the runways on them is going to be closed from the 19th of May to the 9th of June. But we've worked with Cappy Rescue, helicopters, and the local guys there. Unfortunately, they're going to be digging in the runways. You can't land there when there's holes in there or when the sprays haven't been cleared. So, in short, that's my report.
Thank you, Solomon. Any questions for Solomon?
So, Solomon, have you been able to contact all the, have you spoken to the local GAs?
Yes, so we spoke to the guy, the tail numbers, we tracked the tail numbers of the planes. So as an example, we spoke to Ross Smith. He was good because he knows everyone. He gave us half the telephone numbers we needed, so thanks to him. We spoke to Hayden Jones, we spoke to the McDonald family, we spoke to Waringham. It's the ambulance lady, Springfield's husband. Sorry. It's their aircraft that's parked. Yes, that's how we, in fact, we were looking for her. She was on holidays, and when we tracked in, he said, "Oh, I happen to know the lady. I'm actually married to her," and that's how we tracked her down. So yes, everyone we knew about. We camped out at Ralston. We waited for the elusive charters to come in, and the mining charters making use of our free infrastructure. So we got Eastern Well there early last week, Monday morning, and we managed to track Glencore down, in fact, only yesterday, early afternoon. So any other numbers, happy to give them a ring. No, we've had good feedback from everyone. Some places, as an example, with the Bundy Flying Club that wanted to come visit Ralston on the weekend, we could move the work today this way and that way. So at this point, our perception is we're keeping everyone happy. If that perception is wrong, we need it removed.
Thank you, Solomon, for the effort
No.
that yourself and Michelle have sort of put into making sure that we have seemingly left no stone unturned when it comes to.
No, Michelle can
There'll be a stone
spearhead it.
somewhere. But
I think you've done a really great job, and it's been, as you know, with the communication issues at Ralston at the moment, it's difficult to actually get to people. So.
It is, yes. But everyone's been great. They would phone back on at night when they can. Ross went and he drove somewhere to find another phone. I got to speak to him first thing on Saturday morning. So everyone's been great.
So Solomon is also attending the consultations to be there to answer any questions as well and provide information. Absolutely.
I really appreciate that, Solomon. It'll be good to have you on the ground, and I'm sure other questions will come up as well about those assets. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just continuing on with the report, in regards to quarry. So yes, we're quite busy out there at the moment, and business as usual for us. We are receiving some requests for information in regards to the expressions of interest, so they're quite extensive for us to work through some of the information that is being requested by two proponents at this point in time. I'm happy to answer any questions in regards to quarry, if councillors have any. Okay, moving on to sale yards, again, business as usual there. Cattle sale numbers are included within the report for the councillors, and getting on, certainly the sale yards are getting on with those additional couple of CapEx projects that council approved recently as a change to the budget, so thank you very much, and starting to progress our state and federal government funded projects as well, and using GBA to assist us with those larger projects. Any questions in regards to sale yards, councillors? No? Okay, so moving on to property services. quite a extensive detail there in regards to activity. Matters concluded include a complete Blackwater tenancy review as well as an Emerald tenancy review. And that's been fairly important in regards to identifying that we have bonds in place and all the normal and regular tenancy things that getting that that part of council's operations in line and working well. Also to highlight to council, work has been progressing in regards to the sale of the first stage of the Nagoa Rise lots. So a real estate agency has been appointed as well as a solicitor, and we are taking the agency's advice in regards to hold off any progress in regards to the public auction of those lots due to the election. So we're taking that advice at this point in time. We have reported to you previously, Council, in regards to an airport leasing matter and the arrears in regards to a lease. We did, following on from the previous report presented to Council, we did issue a notice of breach on that lessee, and very pleased to advise this morning that that rent has been paid up to date in full, so that's very pleasing. Property Services team have also been progressing in regards to your recall from the Capella Councillor consultation, the matters relating to the Pony Club, and they've been progressing and working with the Pony Club to resolve those matters for them as well. There are also a number of other matters there that are listed for you in regards to being progressed, and happy to take any questions. Steve Williams is in the public gallery there if there are any specific questions. Happy to answer those. And you'll see there that we've received a request from the proprietor of 16 Blaine Street, who adjoined council-owned land, looking for car parking to facilitate further development of 16 Blaine Street at Blackwater. So those investigations are underway to present a report and recommendation to council in that regard. We've also received a request from Barcaldine Shire Council, requesting feedback and commentary to the proposed boundary realignment between the respective local government areas. So again, that matter will be investigated and reported to council. And we continue on with great earnest in regards to the CapEx delivery for the staff and community housing project. Happy to take any questions in regards to Property Services Council.
Questions, anyone? Michelle, I just had a query in relation to staff and community housing, you know, the tenancy reviews that you've undertaken. And you mentioned bonds. Curiously, do we hold the bonds, or does a third party?
The RTA holds them. That's legislated. That's what needs to happen. So we'll acquire them from the staff member. That may be in Jimmy. We'll allow them to pay those by instalments and what have you, and facilitate that as best we can. But it is legislated. We must then remit that to the RTA, and that whole Tenancy Act provisions are followed.
So do we see a further update on any detail of the reviews? And
yes, Steve, if you might like to give some quick comments, please, in regards to your review. It has been quite enlightening working through.
Morning, Madam Chair and councillors, general managers. The review has been good for us. We've been able to go through all of the tenancy agreements that we have, both with staff housing and community housing. All we've been looking for is to make sure that the bonds are in place, that the bond amount that we've been holding is the appropriate bond amount, that the rent that has been assessed is actually what is being paid. They're making sure that our records are in place, and making sure that the tenancy agreements are the appropriate tenancy agreements, and that everyone's complying with it. And what that's doing is informing how we are then progressing the management of those tenancies moving forward, particularly given that we are getting out there again to do the periodic tenancy inspections, basically to make sure that they're looking after our properties.
Thank you.
And sorry, to answer your question, Madam Chair, it is intended to come back with a report on the status of all of our tenancies once we've done it. So from that investigation, we've got a list of stuff that we have to do. We're going to tick that off to make sure that everything is in line, and then come back and be able to present to council to say, yeah, this is where we're at.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for doing that short notice.
through you to, Michelle, the realignment of boundaries between shires, is it because properties are split by the boundary, or what is it? What's caused this to ask for realignment?
Steve, do you have the specific details on this one?
Fairly specific, yes. So our adjoining councillors come to us and said there are a number of properties that are split by the boundary, and they've actually gone out and surveyed the owners of those properties to find out where they would prefer to sit, whether in our council or their council, and then come to us to say, this is what we found, what do you think? And it's up to us now to go back and respond. For our part, we're looking at things like, how's that going to impact on our infrastructure out there? How's that impacting on the rates that we're collecting at the moment, or will be collecting into the future? Just questions like that, so that we've got enough information to make an informed decision, or to arrive at an informed position.
Can you tell me how many properties it is?
There's 6 freehold properties that Barkey's identified. There's a whole range of unallocated state land and state land that's leased, none of which we're managing. It's predominantly the 6 properties, and I apologise, I haven't got the full information around those 6 properties yet, but I understand that of those 6 properties, 2 or 3 of them are straddling the boundary, but they are also, the way that they're being rated is in conjunction with other land holdings that property owner has. So it's not just a straightforward looking at this single parcel and saying, well, we're not going to cut that one up, we'll just shift it to the west or shift it to the east. We're just trying to get our heads around that rating scenario.
Further to that, councillors, normally these ones also involve, for example, them paying rates in our council area, but the road access is in other council. So I've got, for example, St. July Fairhill Road has got a classic example where both those future mines are going to use us, our road network, as providing access and not Isaac. So there was a suggestion of boundary realignment, not to get the mines in. That would be fantastic, but no, not to get the mines in, but there are about 1.5 kilometre of Fairhill Road that is in Isaac, and they maintain it. It's just a go road. And that's going to become access to these mines, but we control 20 kilometres of access. So a lot of these issues, but yeah, generally one that does it cautiously because the property owners might have their motivation and
You wonder why after all this time there's been a trigger.
Well,
they probably don't get their roads maintained.
It's not just I don't feel that it's just something that we've put a little paragraph in here and actually people need to, because it'll buy sort of thing. I think it needs something that, we need to really,
Certainly, once
be
we have
aware
a
of that.
report that will be presented, I mean, this is really highlighting to you that we have received that and we are investigating that, and we will then report that matter to you.
and how many others? I mean, we're bounded by, what does it say?
Well, we have fixed up some with Claremont Dairy, haven't we?
Seem to pop up from time to time, you sort of think you've got it under control.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and just to round the report out, there is some update information there in regards to the Air Hub project for councillors, where the contractor is in regards to preparing what will be a preliminary business case, and a very important component of that work is integrating with the Airport Master Review project. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Michelle. Any questions, councillors? No, well, thank you, Solomon and Steve and Michelle for that comprehensive update. The recommendation is there that we receive this departmental update report for April. Someone happy to move it? Councillor Roll, seconded. Councillor Nixon, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to infrastructure and utilities. Departmental update. I'll hand over to you, Gerard.
My 3 managers are going to probably walk on. Unfortunately, I do throw them under the bus occasionally. I think I've written half of your reports, folks, so I don't know. You can nominate which ones you want to talk to, which ones I want to talk to. You're happy to file away what, take the speak to Lily and I'll speak to the rest.
Yeah, good morning again, councillors. The couple that I'll touch on, just for information, which I brought to last meeting as well. The first was the media release regarding the Springshaw-Tambo Road. So there's been some further clarification around that. The release of the Springshaw-Tambo Road is set to receive $40 million, and that's the actual scope of what that will deliver is yet to be decided. There's been various suggestions around what that will cover, but we'll just wait and see. But any money is obviously good news for that road. And the next one there, with regard to a recent media release from the Palaszczuk government regarding the 2019 community road safety grants. There's some communication around that. So recently the government announced there's $14 million of initiatives. There's been previous years with similar sort of funding. It's looking at grants up to about, grants up to about $20,000 for things such as education, road safety education, resources and training, learner driver mentoring program, bike education. So some of your smaller road safety educational type thing, not as much infrastructure. So what we'll do is we'll put some comms out through our comms team on Facebook and the like, maybe some other methods that they can help us with to try and get some of the local community groups involved as well, because they're the ones that can actually apply for the funding. Council can as well, but it's really looking for those smaller community groups that want to get involved and get some funding.
Jason, the walk to school day on the 17th, is that sort of, does that come under part of the road safety as well?
It's separate to the road safety week, which is the next.
So things like the they did in Ridge Park in Springshaw a couple of months ago with children with their bikes, and they all came to the park and had breakfast, and could that sort of thing be included in?
Sure. Yeah. So some sort of little function like that, providing some sort of education material to the children, and that's the type of events that are sort of looking at those small.
It was the principal of the OLSH looked like a Pied Piper of a green caterpillar going up the road. It was fabulous to watch, kids on bikes.
Very good. So the next one, as I said, is Road Safety Week. So last week was Road Safety Week. The council got involved in that. We put some various road variable message board signs around, with some communication through our Facebook posts again, and also all council email had the Road Safety Week on the signature block there. So unfortunately this year there was no TMR initiative in the Central Highlands. They didn't come out and do anything. Previous years they've done motorcycle education and caravan weighing and stuff like that. Unfortunately there wasn't anything this year. We have a tag meeting tomorrow with TMR, so I'll be discussing that and seeing if we can advocate for that to be reinstated next year.
Can you please ask them where their safety trailer, their sort of trailer, because there's been no comment about when it was first brought out, they were going to go to shows and all sorts of things. Nothing's happened.
That's, I think, Cole has been telling us about this trailer for how many years?
My understanding, councillor, is that the trailer has been delivered to Emerald. I'll chase up tomorrow
Yeah.
as to what the plan is with it from here on.
It could have been part.
Can I just probably insert something in that conversation about spiritual tempo before we move on? I do believe with the Rossi funding, if that is indeed locked in the budget, there's a requirement of another 8 million from DTMR. Now that conversation that is yet to be had. I can't provide any evidence that DTMR is committed to that 8 million. So we'll have to watch this space. We're meeting with some of the senior execs from DTMR regional office on Friday for the asbestos steering committee. So we may as well snip that in the end of the conversation. But I suspect the answer is going to be we know nothing about it. So I hope he does. It will involve some advocacy possibly, but I hope it doesn't put, if it's a budget 40 million locked in regardless of who wins the election, I hope that 8 million doesn't put it at risk. So that'll be interesting. I just thought I'll add that. Are you done? Can I touch on? Oh, CapEx, yes, late handout, sorry councillors. Jason just wants to take questions or talk to the CapEx.
Yeah, apologies for not including it in the original agenda. A copy will also be circulated in the minutes electronically. So basically this is a snapshot of the remaining capital updated as of yesterday. The blue ones are underway, the project's underway, so there has been significant money spent on those projects. Some are very near completion. The white ones are still remaining to be done in the month of June, end of May and early June. So of the projects that haven't started, there's approximately about $1 million worth of projects that we haven't started, but they're well on track in terms of they've been programmed and all the procurements in train for those.
Any questions on that, councillors?
So Jason, we will be out on the Spiritual Tempo Road on Thursday. We might just have a look at this. Make sure that we have a look at the weather affected, etc.
Yep.
We saw it last week, didn't we, Mayor? But yeah, it's good. Talked about. In the cycleways, is that through the roads, regional roads transport group? Is that there's something there always for cycleways?
Just to explain other terms, I think the traditional old cycleway program was related to school safety doesn't really happen anymore. We got Queensland Transport funding through DTMR from a separate source for bikeways. The big ones that we've done up Opal and up Morton, those are under the Queensland Transport Bikeway funding program, underpinned by the Principal Cycle Network plan that.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, Councillor, so through the chair, there is no, the TIDS bucket of money, there is no separate buckets anymore, it's just one big bucket, and we decide where we spend those funds.
Thank you, Jason. Gerard?
I'll just touch on the first two. Councillor Rob did make reference to Queensland's freight strategy. I think I've added before council before. Again, that is probably more critical in terms of informing investment West as a policy document, but again, at the end of the day, talking first and last mile, getting those flood resilient access to product and market, those conversations continue. So the document is there to be noted. The walking strategy, I'm all for it, but I don't want to say that's why we're building all these big, nice pathways of ours, but there is another document, again, it is the government's position on walking. It's a 10-year document, 2-year action plan, And again, I would suspect, given the current focus of main roads and the minister is very strongly into the public transport, cycling, walking space. So again, we hope to possibly get some funding, and actually it's a good point. We haven't heard back from the last one of things and transport bikeway funding, but yeah, if we can get funding out of that pool, we will definitely utilise it too.
So nothing's been announced yet around funding? That'll be great, especially to tie into the discussion we had around looking at our footpath networks
Yes.
that we're going to do next financial year, and the gaps that we may be having, that may exist in our networks.
See, you know, I wonder how big this walking strategy, what the real scope is. Like in the Central Highlands, like you've got, you know, possibly the Nogoa River Rec Trail, the Rifle Range Road Reserve, where you can have walking trails. You've got like our big parks that we recognise, like Blackdown and Carnarvon Gorge. Like we've got, like you want to walk, you can walk for miles here. So, but you know, just what sort of things, what are the limitations to the inclusions? I wonder, is it really about enhancing pathways and cycleways to incorporate walkers?
I think, just for council's benefit, because I have worked in bigger urban councils, the initiative around this is generally getting into that space of getting people not to drive, but to either cycle and or walk. Which means that if you have communities that is what I call a 5-minute community, that you have the ability or create the opportunity for people to not drive but walk. So it is very urban focused, so it's not the recreational stuff, it's to do with commuting between school, shop, business.
Just had tourist movements special to the Lions Park, I've been on the agenda for a long time.
So is there any talk between Queensland Rail, who own the rail lines, and TMR around they've disused railway lines. So the railway line, it was raised the other day in Springshaw, the railway line between the town and going past the sale yards, and whether that could be opened up as a walking trail as well.
It could be a conversation to be had, but when you say I haven't actively pursued QR in that regard, but if we wish to, we'll have to find out who in QR controls that section. It is also the secondary conversation is if they decommission the line, is dealing with rehab and decontamination, so to speak, so there's a lot more to it. So it could be a longer term strategy, and it happens elsewhere, but basically it will be a case of they will have to take the ownership, serious decommission, rehab, and then obviously.
It has happened. Gerard, it has happened quite a lot in Queensland.
No, I've been on, in some sense, Rocky Valley, that area, I've been on decommissioned railway trails, so I fully appreciate that opportunities do exist. But in this case, we haven't initiated anything, and if we did, there would be a long lead time because they will have to incur the cost of decommissioning and rehab.
And there are also some people that don't want it ripped up as well. So.
Because they want trains to come back.
Yeah. Oh, if there's mining or anything that's close handy, it may be incorporated in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two sides.
Yeah.
Over to Peter Manning.
Morning, councils. Just two quick update items from me this month. So we have a report back from the consultant who was looking at the concepts for reinstating raw water to the Blackwater High School. The options ranged from a minimum works to get it going again of just over 80,000 to a recommended option of replacing the entire pipeline at sort of 250,000. So our next step will be to get this into the capital program. And the second item, which I must apologise, I managed to call it a Black Gully water treatment plant rather than wastewater. A quick update on where we're at. A couple of things have changed since I've written the report, but in essence we've been turned the new plant on at the end of April, so the wastewater is flowing through that. The last bit of the liquid stream to be commissioned will be the disinfection, which will be next week now, starting Monday. And subsequent to writing the report, Department of Environment and Science have approved the TEP amendment application, so that approval came through Friday. So that's extended the date for where we're at now, which was the start of the plant getting disinfection going to the end of this month, with the TEP closeout to be end of August. So we will be well on track for achieving that.
Questions?
Just a question on the Blackwater pipeline. I know Scrimshaw, you had some pipes which were relined, different technology. Is that a possibility, or?
That was one of the options there. So the third one was relining the whole length, but the way the cost they've given us is more than actually replacing the pipeline.
Just a point to note on that is we'll say subject to co-contribution. When we say it's on the program, it will definitely be subject to other parties contributing, and I think the Mayor is advocating for Lana amongst others to try and get some funding. And on the Black Gully wastewater treatment plants, I'll appreciate that Peter's given me mention in the copyright for the first photo, which I took out of the left side of the plane when it took off the other day. Thanks, Pete. If that's it, I'm going to put Kim on the spot and say, Kim, do you want to talk to any of those two topics, or do you want me to?
Councillors, I didn't actually write either of those reports. I'm just here for the company.
All right, so I'll talk to it.
Over to you, Gerard.
Yeah, since I had a good run at the Totem project, the Visitor Information Centre one is one that's currently out, so I'm encouraging councillors who've got a bit of interest. Chris will be up at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So this is out and about. There's a couple of great ideas floating around, which is definitely way more than my original instructions for the car park, which I'm glad I put the skids on, because I do believe that precinct needs to be thoroughly looked at in integrating everything, including potentially markets from the Lions Group, try and get more life into the Heritage Village, getting connectivity back to town, etc., etc. So there's a lot more about that precinct than just building a car park. So I hope councillors appreciate the fact that there's there's opportunity, and Chris will be up. So I hope that any councillors that have specific ideas want to share it with Chris, by all means, use that opportunity.
Through the chair, the other day I was with, we were talking tourism, and we're looking at, I guess, potential car parking ideas around that area, and it was utilising space in the Claremont Street corridor and the Dundas Street corridor as well. I just want to make sure that, because I see the line drawn just around the Morton Park, that we're sort of also turning around and looking what's behind us and beside us as well for options with the master plan.
I can give you that guarantee. I did include that little white lines indicate that there's actually road reserve running on the eastern side of this open drain. So that is the development of that area, which is all road reserve to additional parking, and also getting that connection from the end of Egerton Street and getting that vista of the easel, getting that connection back to town.
Yes.
So yes, all that is
being considered. Yeah, great, thank you.
And as I said, the integration of markets and specifically, more specifically, the lines in that area, giving a bit more vibrancy on weekends and so on. So there's a couple of interesting ideas. And as I said, it's more than just building a car park, which was in my initial brief, but I'm glad the tourism guys have come on board and CHDC is understanding that maybe they should look at the big picture. And I said, well, we and the second one is exciting. We seem to be on the front end of stuff like that. Bill Wilkinson has been talking to that agency. Bit of a long acronym, but as it goes too long, to get a real-time ultraviolet radiation sensor on the roof of this building for us, which, just like on radar, on the road will give us real-time UV data and will make us the fourth place in Queensland to have such. So watch this space. I presume there'll be opportunity, if that comes to fruition, that we'll have an opportunity to get a bit more media out of it.
Well, there actually has been media last week, that Brett Bird from that ARPANSA was actually on ABC Radio talking about this project, and then to my surprise, it was going on this building, so. It measures in one of the locations in Queensland, so a good thing for us.
That's me.
Thank you, Gerard. And the Morton Park Development Project, very exciting project, and I think there's a lot of potential there. To be involved in that conversation, leading to and also the council. Looking forward to the final presentation back in council here in July. So, any other questions? We've got 2 items of closed session, so thank you very much, Pete, Lynn, Jason, and Kim Dowd. You're a great accessory there. Resolution. Coming up, that recommendation is there just to receive the departmental update for April. Moved to Councillor Delacote, second to Councillor Daniels, all in favour. Carried, thank you. So as I said, councillors, we have 2 closed session items, so we will be moving into closed session under section 2751H of the Government Regulation 2012.
Okay, we're good.
Alright, welcome back, viewers, streamers. We have two items there, two recommendations in relation to those closed session items. The first one being in relation to the native title, contingent liability. The officer recommendation is there before you. Would somebody like to move that one? Oh, sorry, yeah, we would, I think, was it you first, Charlie?
I don't know, who was first?
Oh, doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I
matter.
was looking at this.
Doesn't matter, just.
So someone move it. Councillor Brummelcone, second, and Councillor Nixon, all in favour. Carried. Thank you.
And
Yes. Second recommendation is in relation to the Customer and Commercial Services Departmental update. That we received. That report highlighting the activities of April. Anyone like to move that one? Councillor Daniels, seconded. Councillor Robb, all in favour. Carried. Thank you very much. Was there anything on anyone's mind that we need to raise for general business? No, all good? All right. Well, I'll declare the meeting closed at 9:58 PM. Thank you very much for your participation and enthusiasm as always, and thank you to our streamers for tuning in and staying with us. And thank you, Lisa.